So what are the perks of being in tech sales? We hear a lot of people talk about high salaries and making a lot of money, but what are the other benefits of being in this field? Don't worry guys, we're gonna answer all those questions right now. Welcome back to the channel everybody, Danilo Caprick here, AKA the best dressed man in tech sales, don't forget it. And in today's video, we're gonna talk about what are the perks, right? Outside of high salaries, what are the other perks of being in tech sales? So without further ado, let's get into it. All right guys, perk number one. In tech sales, you have a high degree, a high level of autonomy. Okay, what this means is you have a lot of time. You are in exact control of how you spend your time. You make up your calendar. You get to decide what meetings you go to and that you don't go to, and it's all in your hands. So that's the first thing, guys. When it comes to being in tech sales, you literally make up your calendar. There will be, of course, some meetings you have to go to, like a one-on-one with your manager, maybe an all-hands meeting where the entire company is on the call. But for most cases, you're going to be able to control the way you spend your time. If you want to go work from a coffee shop that day, you can go do that. If you want to reschedule a meeting because you're not prepared, you can do that. You can really, manage your calendar how you want. So that's the first thing we want to mention in terms of perks of tech sales. And the reason I really want to emphasize this one is because according to positive psychology, one of the factors, the biggest factors that impacts our sense of well-being is our sense of autonomy. In other words, how much control do we have in terms of how our time is spent? Because at a regular hourly job, we don't really have that much autonomy, right? Like when I worked at the mall, I had to be there at a certain time. I had to stay for a certain number of hours. And then before I left, I had to make sure certain things got done, right? But in tech sales, you're more independent. Yes, you will get checked on from time to time and you have a check-in with your manager probably once a week, but generally speaking, you are in total control of your time and how that time gets spent. All right guys, perk number two, one of my favorite perks and one of the personal reasons why I choose to stay in this field is they're paying the bills, guys. They are literally helping us pay the bills in tech sales. The specific bills that they're helping us cover in most cases are, number one, your phone bill, all right? I don't know how much y'all are paying for the phone bill nowadays, but wouldn't it be nice if you didn't have to pay that thing all the time? Guess what? In tech sales, they take care of that for us. The second bill that they pay is your gym membership, all right? So some of y'all, I don't know, depends what y'all are doing. Maybe you do Orange Theory, right? It's a little pricey. Maybe you just go to LA Fitness, whatever it is, even if it's $30 a month, wouldn't you rather have somebody else pay that for you, right? So that's the other bill that they're covering for us. Number three, they're paying for our home internet bill, all right? So that's the other thing, especially if you're a remote employee, they're gonna pay for your internet. That's another expense that you don't have to pay. And then finally, the other kind of bill they help us pay or expense that they help us avoid is home office. So in most cases, especially if you're working remote, they will give you a home office stipend, right? Where they'll give you actual money to buy a desk, buy your computer. Actually, I take that back. They give you your computer. But maybe you need to buy a headset, right? Maybe there's other things you have to buy, and they will give you money for these things. All right, guys, perk number three, equity, all right? Equity, stocks, all right? I really, really do not know any other job that gives you stock, okay? I do know that Starbucks, for example, is one of the companies where even if you're part-time, they'll give you stock. But let's say you don't really care about coffee, right? Maybe you want to do something else. Again, tech sales is going to be a place where you can get that stock and you get it upon day one. What I mean is the second you get your offer, in most cases, in addition to that salary, you're going to have XYZ number of shares that are going to vest in a maybe 4-year period. So that means if you stay at the company for certain amounts of time, you will be able to walk away with that equity. And in most cases, that's just extra money that you can do whatever you want with afterwards. So that's the other perk, guys. They're giving us stocks, they're giving us equity. I don't know too many other fields that do this for you. Perk number four, a lot of you guys know this. We get to be remote, right? And if we don't start our jobs remote, we at least get the opportunity to earn it. Back in 2014, when I was working in an office, I was able to earn my remoteness, if you will, after 2 years of consistently meeting quota. So even if you're not starting off as a remote employee, just know that you can work up towards that. And as long as management trusts you and knows that you're going to be able to hit the targets that you need to hit, they're gonna be okay with you working from home. All right, guys, the last and final perk for the video, perk number 5 is you get access in tech sales to C-level executives, all right? And you might be thinking at first, like, why is that a perk? Who cares if I get to work with C-level executives? You should care a lot, all right? The reason why you should care a lot is because these people can transform your life in ways that nobody else can, all right? If we think about C-level executives, these are folks who have real power in the marketplace. These are people who can pick up their cell phone, make a call, and get stuff happening. These are people who can get you jobs. These are people who can give you recommendations. I can go on. But the thing is, guys, these are some of the most powerful, influential people in society. Why wouldn't we have any interest in becoming closer or becoming potentially friends with them, right? And we get the best opportunity to do this in tech sales. We not only get to help them solve problems, but we get to help them leave an impact on their company. And if we can do the right things, not only successfully have a sales cycle, but deliver impact, oh my God, who knows what they'd be willing to do for us. And just to give you an idea, guys, I've stayed connected to some of the C-level executives that I've sold to in the past, and now I'm literally on a text message basis with some of them. Literally a few weeks ago, one of the executives that I'm really cool with, his son reached out to me. And his son is doing a PhD, not a PhD, he's doing a master's at Columbia University. And he calls me to get feedback because his father said I'd be a good person to reach out to. I'm like, what? So again, not to get sidetracked there, but that's the thing, guys. You have no idea how these executives can impact your life later on. Again, we talked about they can give you recommendations, they can help you find other jobs, they can literally, who knows what. But don't take this for granted because a lot of folks don't get access to these kinds of people. So that's the final perk to keep in mind, guys. We get access to C-level executives that can completely change our lives for the better. There you have it, guys. Outside of the high salaries, those are some of the top perks of being in tech sales that you can expect if you decide to join us in this lucrative field. But let's do a quick recap before we leave. Number one, we talked about high degrees of autonomy. Okay, in tech sales, we have a lot of control over how our time is spent, and that will really make a positive impact on our sense of well-being. Number two, we talked about how these companies are going to help us pay the bills, all right? They're going to help us pay our phone bill, internet bill, gym bill, office stipend, maybe even some other things depending on the company. Number three, they're going to give us equity, okay? That means stock, all right? So don't think about just a salary, but maybe in 4 years you can walk out with an extra 100 grand because they gave you that equity. Number four, you get the ability to work remote, and even if you don't start off as a remote employee, you can earn the right to be remote if you're consistent in generating results. Number five, you get to build a network of C-level executives who could change your life in so many ways 5 or 10 years down the road. There you have it, guys. That's the video for today. Hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please hit the subscribe button below. Also, if you're not doing so already, go follow me on LinkedIn. And last but not least, if you are a salesperson that is trying to get more effective as a seller, go ahead and join us at the B2B Syndicate. See what we got cooking up over there. All right, guys. With that said, hope you have an awesome day, and I will catch you all in the next video. Take it easy now.